Welcome back. I have Selena here with me, and we are here to talk more about area. Who knew there was so much to talk about? Area is one of my favorite things to do because it's kind of like a puzzle, solving a puzzle. And so we've used the yellow area material to find the area of 2 polygons so far. We have found the area of a rectangle, and the formula for that was area equals base times height. And then we looked at the parallelogram, and the parallelogram was special because it had 2 pairs of parallel lines and no right angles. And we found the area of the parallelogram, and it was surprise, surprise, area of a parallelogram is base times height, which was easy because that was the same as our rectangle. And today we're going to be talking about another polygon, this time our 3-sided polygon, the triangle. And here I have an acute angle triangle. Now, when we look at this triangle, we notice right away that we cannot count up every square. We can't count up every square. We can see we've got some partial squares and little bits and pieces, but we can't just count up the squares. And so we had this problem with the parallelogram. And what did we have to do with the parallelogram?
We had to cut the side.
We had to break it into pieces and move them around. So I have something special here for you to see. I have a couple more triangles just like this one. And all 3 of these triangles are congruent. They take up the same shape, or they're made of the same shape, and they take up the same space. They're the same size. So all 3 of these triangles, are congruent. Now that we know that when we think about it, we know the area of a rectangle. So if we can convert our other polygon into a rectangle, we can see if we can figure out what the area is. So here we have our whole one, and I'm thinking I'm going to set this one off to the side out of our way for a second. And I'm looking at this one here, or these 2 here. Is there a way, Selena, that we can make a rectangle out of all of these pieces we have right here? Is there a way we can combine them together to make a new whole? No. Oh, okay, she made a special kind of rectangle. What kind of rectangle did you make?
It's a square.
It's a square. What is the base of this square? 10. What is the height of this square? 10. Okay. I'm going to pull these pieces back off for a second. I'm just going to leave them upside down right over there out of our way. When you look at this triangle, what was the base of this triangle?
10.
And what's the height of this triangle?
10.
Oh. So the base of the triangle is 10 and the height of the triangle is 10. But when we add these pieces on, now we have a square that has an area with a base of 10 and a height of 10. But if we were to multiply base times height, we would get the area of this whole rectangle, the whole square. How much of the rectangle or square is our triangle?
Half, because we added 2 together.
Yeah, half of it is our triangle. Okay, so we have to think about this. The area of our triangle, oh, you can't see me. The area of our triangle equals base times height divided by 2. It's the base times height, but only half of it. Base times height divided by 2. When we talk about finding the area of a triangle using this method, we call this doubling the area, because see how we ended up doubling the area? But the formula is dividing by 2 because we found it by 2. Okay, I'm going to set that ticket for how we found the area right there. Okay, I'm going to set this one aside and I'm going to build this triangle back together. Okay, so we saw one way of turning this into a rectangle. Can you use these pieces to create another kind of rectangle? Oh. So I want to show you slower what Selena did. She broke it in half this way and then glued it back on over here. Okay, So that's what she did to make a rectangle. Let's set this up here so we can see. What happened, or what is the base of your rectangle? 5. What was the base of the triangle we started with?
10.
Oh. So what happened to our base?
It's half.
It's half as much. How about
It's the same.
it stayed the same? So when we found the area using this rectangle, we took half of the base of our triangle times the height of our triangle. Okay. Area of our triangle equals 1/2 the base times the height. 1/2 base times the height. Okay, that's a cool way of solving it. Okay, that's a different way. Okay, we're gonna slide this one out of the way. And now we have a triangle, an acute angled triangle divided a different way. I'm gonna put this one here as our reminder, reference. Okay, can you turn this divided triangle into another shape we know? Oh, interesting. We have another rectangle. What happened to the base of our triangle?
It is still 10.
Still 10. How much is our height though?
It's 5.
5. What was the height of our triangle?
10. So it's
Oh,
half.
half. So when we made it into this rectangle, the difference for this one is this area of a triangle is equal to the base times half of the height. I'm going to put a dot there so you know times 8. B times half of 8. Wow. There are 3 ways that we can solve for area of an acute triangle. We can double the area and then divide it by 2. We can cut the base in half. We can, here it is. We can cut the base in half and multiply it by our height. Or we can cut our height in half and multiply by the base. Isn't it amazing how many different ways we can use the area of it, or the triangle, to find area using what we already know about the rectangle? Okay, let me get my math journal and I'll show you what I want you to do for following up of area of an acute angled triangle. Will you slide that out of the way? Last week's lesson was equivalence of a triangle and a rectangle, and your follow-up should look more complete than that. Okay, so you're going to draw all 3 triangles that we've talked about. I'm sorry you can't really see my handwriting. Let me find a darker pencil. Okay, so we're looking at our acute angled triangle, and it had a base of 10 and a height of 10. So I'm going to start by drawing my triangle right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I just drew down the center. And then the base is 10 on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I don't have a small ruler, but I do have a piece of cardstock. So there is our acute angled triangle. It has a height of 10 and a base of 10. Base of 10. It is still really hard for you to see that. Hang on just 1 second. Okay, so we're back. We finished taking our whole page of notes, and when I went to say goodbye and push end, I had already pushed end. And so here we are again. So we are going to redo our whole page of notes, but we're not going to do the whole page with you. We're just going to, I'm going to talk you through what I've done since I don't want to draw it twice in my journal. And this time I'm just going to go over it with colored pencil and hopefully you can see it. So we're looking at area of an acute triangle.
Do you want to make it full screen or just leave it?
We will go full screen. But I think that's what happened last time when I went to go full screen and I like just ended. Okay.
Wrong button.
I hit the wrong button. It's funny that we didn't realize I hit the wrong button until the very end.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is our first triangle. And I'm just darkening those edges up. And that was our triangle that we started with. It had a height of 10 and a base of 10. And so this area in the center was the area of our triangle we started with. And what we did on the first one was we took the triangle we started with and we took another triangle and added it to it, which gave us two triangles. It gave us two parts. So this part back here was added on. That part was added on. So when we found the area, of the triangle that we were trying to find the area of, we had to take the base and the height of our triangle we started with and divide it by 2 because we added a whole extra one to make our special rectangle. So that was one way. That was the first way we solved it. The second way, we had our triangle. Our acute angled triangle was right here. And what we did with our height of 10, we divided our base in half. Here's our base. We divided our base in half. So here is our triangle. Right there. And with this triangle, we cut this piece off. This piece is now gone. And we glued it on right over here. And I'm going to color it in there to make a rectangle. This rectangle had the same height as our triangle, but it had half the base of our original triangle. So for this one, for this area of a triangle, we had our base times our height, but we had to divide our base in half. We had half of our base. Half of our base. In our third example, we had our triangle. There's our triangle. We cut our height in half. So instead of having a height of 10, we had a height of 5. We had a base of 10, and we cut these top pieces off and glued them on over here and over here. And this became our triangle, or our triangle became this rectangle. This is quite the color combination. It's mauve and orange.
Just orange.
I thought it was going to have a fancy name, but it's just orange.
Just orange.
There it is. So for this one, we did area of our triangle was our base times 1/2 of the height. That was how we did that one. Okay, so that was way 1. This was way 2, and this was our third way. We had 3 ways of finding area of an acute triangle. And then down here at the bottom, I was just doing some examples. You should fill in your area, you should fill in the space with your area of a triangle. There we go. Here we have a triangle. It had a base of 2 and a height of 2, and I solved it. It had a unit, 2 units squared was the area of that little tiny triangle. I followed the formula right here. And then I had this triangle, and this one I chose to do using the half of the base. So I'm going to cut it in half, glue it on over there. This becomes my space I'm measuring. 3 by 5, and I get 15 units squared. Okay, so there were the 3 ways that you need to, the 3 ways that we can find area of an acute triangle. There they are. I need you to put those in your journal. You don't have to make yours as big as I did. I just made mine 10 by 5. You can make yours smaller and label them 10 by 5. That's totally fine. Or you can do this where you fit all 3 on a little over half, and then you have room down here to do, I could probably do one more triangle. So you can do 3 triangles. You should do 3 or more to find the area of an acute triangle. And there is our second version of area of an acute triangle. I hope that you enjoyed that and you found a new way to solve a problem. We are going to see you next time when we find 3 new ways to solve area of a right triangle. See you then.